Yeah, I've just been very much like, it's funny, if I don't leave the house, I'm fine. But if I leave the house, I come back with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I go, that's really not healthy. Like I don't want to turn into that person.
Yeah, and this situation is not healthy, right? Is sort of almost no way to make it good. I told you earlier that leaning in, one of the pieces of advice that I see the opportunity for evolution for all of us here in this, right? We talked a little bit about that.
A little bit, yeah.
We're seeing more telemedicine done now. Technology is being deployed to interact with our elderly parents. Technology is being used to keep people educated in school, keep the classes going. A lot of interesting things are underway. The government is stepping up in a ton of ways. There's technology is developing around how to respond to a disaster. I mean, how California is building out hospital beds and creating resources. These are all incredible evolutions. But this is also an opportunity for us individually each to evolve, right? And so one of the things I was advocating for people is, if you're an anxious person like you and me, lean in. Now's the time to lean in. Lean into it and see what resources you have internally to get control of yourself and do that, and stay focused on what you need to do. I mean, for what? Well, not drinking is a good one, right?
Oh, yeah,
for me, it's going to the hospital if I got to go. I'm going in. I'm leaning into it, and my anxiety be damned. And even though I feel shitty, because it's something in the vapors, I'm driven to distraction by the press and their horrible language. It's funny that was what bothers me the most. Is they're driving people into deeper anxiety and dread that I may not be able to help them out of. Right? That's sort of what troubles me.
I think that is the underlying thing, is that they're driving people into such anxiety and dread that it is affecting more people than the virus. Definitely.
Yes, and then we're hopeless and we're helpless, and we don't attend to things that we should, and then when it comes time to work, we're going to be paralyzed. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. We don't need to be like this. We should be exercising, we should be sleeping right, we should be eating right, we should be focusing on our family, really reprioritizing our values. It kind of makes everything kind of come into focus a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, my values, I became very like, fucking, what I got here is what I got here, and let's
here,
focus.
You mean here?
Like
here?
in this? No, in this family.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you prioritize. I cooked a brisket and I cut a bunch of it up and I sent it to my sisters. I sent it to my buddy.
There you go.
I sent it to friends, and going like,
that's the stuff.
Like, and that made me feel really great.
That is it's so service and giving and retrenching with people that are important to us. I'm strange. I look forward to coming in here and talking to you. I really did, because this and you did relieve me a lot of the time from sort of the weird misery I'm in. Right?
It's such a weird time to. Yeah. It's a weird time to be in your head.
Well, I personally, I feel like I'm taking the whole country and going, okay, hold on. Just kind of you got this. And we're going to be fine. I feel like I'm like holding up a wall that's starting to crumble.
Yeah.
And there's the press on the other side, like with a big hammer. Just
it doesn't
on the
help
wall.
us if they're comfortable. Right. They don't listen if they're not scared.
It's like, no, just we got this. Don't look at that language.
What do you think about those spring breakers in Florida though?
There was a couple of days of screwballs in denial. That stopped. It stopped. Everybody's entitled to come to this whole thing requires adjustments of behavior, right?
Yeah.
And not everyone, we didn't go from a week ago, we were not imagining we'd be here. Now, right? It evolved.
That was 1 week ago.
Like, think about that.
That was
week ago. I was on a plane and I was being careful what I touched and that kind of thing. I was being very, very, very careful, but I didn't imagine I'd be stuck at home and nobody out.
I was in New Orleans. What was today's Thursday, right? Wednesday?
Yeah.
What day?
Thursday.
Today's Thursday?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
I was in a plane. I was in New Orleans. I was driving back from New Orleans to LA.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I was like, I literally said to myself, I'm going to party my dick off this entire time and not let the voices fuck with me. And I'm going to drink them away. And then when I get home, I'm done.
That is what I always encourage you to do, isn't it?
Yeah. You always said, Bert, drink as hard as you can. I tell you what I'm not waking up with in the morning is that dread of like, bro, I am giving myself pancreatic cancer. Like, you need to slow the fuck down. You want to know what's put me in a hole? We were watching Patrick Swayze and we're all just talking about a badass he was.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, man, how does a guy like that die? And they go, he was a drinker. And I went, what? And I'm like, yeah, he was a drinker, man. Drinker and smoker. Never stopped. Old Texas boy.
I would say that smoking is more of the pancreatic cancer. Than
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. Thank God I don't smoke. I quit smoking weed and cigars, but I did that months out. When I first heard about this virus,
No.
I was like, I take that back. I probably smoked weed a couple times. But when we were in New York, we went to a Rangers, we went to a Knicks game, then a Rangers game. And at the Knicks game, that was the first time we heard about this virus. And then we were like, we should be fine. Just use hand sanitizer. And we're like, okay. And we did. We kept our hands clean. But they fucking put me up on the big screen. And they were like, Bert, we'd love you to rip your shirt off and kill a beer. And I was like, well, I don't have a beer. And they're like, don't worry, we got you. Someone grabbed a cup off the ground and started filling it up with local beers. And I'm like, I think this is how you get the virus, guys. Killed the beer. And then the next night went to the Knicks game, same. Everyone's shaking hands, everyone's touching, way before any of that. But the one upside is, I will say, is they still had hand sanitizer at the Knicks and Rangers games.
Yeah.
You couldn't find it anywhere in New York, but it was in big buckets.
Yeah.
And so I bought a ton, and that lasted us all the way through to New Orleans.
Yeah, we were being careful, and then we were instructed to be more careful.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
But
we didn't know we were going to go here. Just the way those kids weren't really hearing what they were being instructed to do.
Yeah.
They weren't hearing it. Took a day or two to figure it out. They were screwballs. Okay, they got it. Everyone's allowed to make mistakes as we go down this path.